Okay, abuzia bɛma kɔ abasompo so ɛde ba ɛyɛ Ghana Politics Avenue so abuzia yɛmbɔnwura ɛyɛ yɛn nsɛm and rather latest update on SML deal abuzia yɛde ho nsɛm ɛbrɛ mu na ɔmo kɔpie mu ɛwɔ court no Ken Oforiata for the first time kɔpie mu ɛwɔ court on SML scandal na sitting MP NPP MP kyerɛ sɛ ɔwɔ parliament abusua ɛkyerɛ sɛ court no refuse ɛyɛ ne plea abusua sisi no papa no aso ayɛ hye paa ɛnyɛ asɛm ketewa koraa na ɔno no ne nsɛm ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɛkɔkɔ pie mu on SML scandal no saa NPP MP ɔyɛ sitting member of parliament ɛkyerɛ sɛ court ne refuse ɛyɛ ne plea no sisi no yɛba abɛsɛve ɛyɛ bench warrant ɛde amana ɛnyɛ asɛm ketewa koraa nti no deɛ miɛnkɔ na yɛnkɔ tie asɛm a ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ court ɔno nti no deɛ nti a court no refuse ɛyɛ ne plea on SML scandal no abusua miɛnkɔ na yɛnkɔ tie unsubscribe subscribe like na share ma afoforɔ nso ɛnsa ntumi ɛnka bi Ghana Politics Avenue so madam ase
Nanaya Oforiata, who is out of jurisdiction. Essentially what this means is that that trial in absentia that many had been calling that should be considered is one that, we will see playing out now. But his chief of staff, Ernest Akore, both of them are out of the country. The court also admitted Emmanuel Kofi Reverend Amishadai Owusu-Amoah, Isaac Crenshaw, Ivan Seduse, and the Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited to some 50 million. That's 50 million bail each. 50 million bail each with two sureties to be justified. Now, this is the scope of the OSP's case against the accused persons. Now, we're going to show you right now when we talk about the scope and because we're having quite a number of charges, a plethora of them, and Ken Oforiata and all the others. And this is it. Let's put it on the screen right now. It tells a story. The prosecution's case is that the accused persons, Ken Oforiata, Reverend Amishadai, Emmanuel Nti, and all the others, engage in this scheme to improperly secure procurement contracts for SML, resulting in financial loss exceeding 1.4 billion Ghana cedis. They are also accused of influencing the procurement process for unlawful gain and using public office for profit. Further billions of dollars were expected to be paid for the intervention of the state. Now, the case has been adjourned to 17 December 2025 for Kojo Damwa, a member of parliament for German South, to appear and take his plea after the court declined prosecution request for a bench warrant. So, in fact, earlier today, the prosecution, the case, that's the Office of Special Prosecutor, was asking for a bench warrant for them to be able to, as it were, serve Kojo Damwa as a member of parliament. And you know how this has played out over the period. Manasseh Azura has been consistent questioning some figures that the OSP put out regarding this same SML deal. Because remember, all of this started with him. It's an investigation that he conducted that led to that audit that was conducted by KPMG, and then the recommendations to the then president, Addo Akuffo, cancelled all other portions of this SML deal except one which was left. That is why this talks about the state intervention in there. As to exactly how much that it would have cost the state has been one major area of debate between Manasseh Azura that is the chief witness in this case, and also the OSP. My colleague and also our legal affairs correspondent, Sixtus Don Ulo, he sat through this case in court earlier today. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Sixtus, appreciate you. Now, tell us exactly how it played out in court earlier today. The mood in court, and the first time all these persons who are being accused by the OSP, except Ken Oforiata and Emmanuel Akore, were in court. Tell me exactly how it played out. So if you could unmute for me. No, we unfortunately.
Am I clear?
Yes, perfect. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So, Alfred, the anticipation was thick in the air. The courtroom was packed. This is a case that a lot of people have waited with bated breath for it to start. And so you could tell, at least from the faces, the look on the faces of the lawyers representing these accused persons, from the interested individuals or ordinary citizens who also showed up in the courtroom, some with ties to the accused persons, others also just out of curiosity who showed up and tried to also understand what exactly was going to happen in court today. And so you could see on the faces of a lot of people that they were there to as we say in the local parlance, for the gist. And you could see on the faces of the lawyers that they meant business. And Alfred, this is one case, maybe owing to the level of public interest in it, that has the special prosecutor himself personally leading the charge. And so he led a team of lawyers to appear in court this morning to start proceedings. And so the tension was there from the faces of journalists. Also, you could tell that, well, they may have covered so many cases in court, but this is one particular case that a lot of the journalists waited for so long to cover. And so I want to believe that there's a long way ahead of us. But you started off by talking about the plea that was given when you mentioned that the plea of all of them was taken. Well, let me just quickly correct that before we proceed. You would recall that 3 individuals were absent in court today. The first is the first accused person, and maybe the most important person of interest in this whole matter, the former finance minister, Ken&Set. The second is his chief of staff. You rightly mentioned his name, Mr. Ernest Akroma. And also you have the 6th accused person, who is a sitting member of parliament in the person of Kojo Damwa. These 3 individuals were not in court, and so the court did not take their plea. All the other 5 who were in there, the 4 artificial persons, plus the company, SML itself.
That's right.
They...
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. So those ones had their pleas taken. We know that the court is supposed to reconvene on the 17th of December, when the plea of Kojo Damwa would be taken. Now, the absence of Kojo Damwa in court was one that sparked lots of legal arguments.
Yeah.
His lawyers started off on a point of protest, as they described it, and their protest was hinged on Article 117. Now, Alfred, you are familiar with the provision of Article 117 of the Constitution 1992. It is that famous provision that grants immunity to members of parliament.
True.
And I must qualify that active members of parliament or sitting members of parliament from service on them of criminal or civil processes, whilst they are on their way to attend upon parliament or from parliament, or generally in the discharge of their duties as members of parliament. So the protest was hinged on this. And the facts surrounding that, according to the lawyer, was that the client had not been properly served. And the reason he said that was that Kojo Damwa was in parliament on the 9th of December when he got a call from the office of the special prosecutor to appear before at the office of the special prosecutor. Reason was not stated according to the lawyer. But then when the Kojo Damwa appeared at the premises of the special prosecutor, there was a court bailiff waiting there to serve him with the hearing notice. Now, you would note that the hearing notice is also this important piece of paper that will tell you that Alfred Okansi, you are to appear before this court on this day at this time to answer to 1, 2, 3 charges. And it is that piece of information that will alert you that there's a proceeding against you so that you can appear and adequately present your defense to whatever charge it may be that is against you. So where this is absent, then a critical part of the criminal process is called into question. And that was the premise upon which the lawyer for Kojo Damwa, who is a sitting member of parliament, made the argument that as a member of parliament and founded on Article 117 of the Constitution 1992, there are protocols that dictate how a sitting member of parliament should be served processes. And basically, these processes have to go through the parliamentary service so that they are onward then relayed to the member of parliament concerned. And you would recall quite a number of examples that came up where this provision was tested in the past. But the special prosecutor objected to that, and his objection was also hinged on the foundation that, indeed, Kojo Damwa plus all the other accused persons are out on bail. That would be with the exclusion of the former finance minister and his chief of staff.
Sure. But you see, there was one point that you just made, and we got notice that the special prosecutor was asking for a bench warrant for that is the MP in question.
Exactly, and that is the point I was going to make. When he gave the explanation as to why the submission by lawyer for Kojo Damwa was not tenable in his words, he said that the accused person was out on bail. Indeed, all the other accused persons who are within the jurisdiction and who were before the court, they are out on bail, and part of the conditions of that bail is that they are to present themselves before the OASP at any given time that the OASP calls upon them. It would not matter where you are, what you are up to, or what duties you are discharging. Once you are out on bail, and that is a condition of the bail, you must respond to the special prosecutor anytime you are called upon to do so. And so based on that, Kojo Damwa could not have argued that he did not know about the summons to appear before the court today, could not have argued that he was discharging parliamentary duties as a member of parliament, and could not have argued that he enjoyed immunity and so should be exempted, or the service was not properly effected, so should be excused from court today. Right. And on that basis, the special prosecutor argued that they were minded to ask the court to issue an arrest warrant for the arrest of Kojo Damwa. But that probably did not play out long, as the judge, in his infinite wisdom, whilst ruling on this legal argument, stated that it is not in dispute that Kojo Damwa is a sitting member of parliament. And the provision is also clear. Article 117 is also clear. Okay. That is also not in dispute. Right. Now, what should be a question to answer would be whether or not indeed on the 9th of December, when the OSP called upon Kojo Damwa to appear at the office of the OSP, whether or not Kojo Damwa was in parliament, number one, or he was he went to the office of the special prosecutor from Parliament, or whether at all he was even discharging a duty or any duty at all as a member of Parliament, for which reason he could claim immunity under Article 117 of the Constitution.
Very
important. The court looked to the special prosecutor to provide some evidence otherwise. So the direct question that was put to the special prosecutor was whether he had any evidence that showed that even though Kojo Damwa is a sitting member of Parliament, and notwithstanding that Parliament is in session, and indeed sat on that particular day, which was a Tuesday, that Kojo Damwa was not present in Parliament.
Right.
In which case, it could be argued that he was not called out of Parliament, or he was not returning from Parliament or attending to Parliament to then claim the immunity provided for under Article 117.
So, which date has this case been adjourned to again, quickly?
That would be the 17th, the 17th of this month.
17th of December, well, which is some 6 days away from today. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. Six Don Olo is our legal affairs correspondent. 17th of December, he's going to be in the same, in the court where this case will be heard. And so we'll get the same comprehensive detail from him. That's our legal affairs correspondent, Six Don Olo there. But here's what happened. Because the court closed late, the bail terms will take effect on Monday, the 15th of December, when the accused persons return to complete the bail procedures, as we do know it. Until then, they remain on their existing OSP bail terms. That's what Sixtus also gave us earlier today. But there's one issue that caught the attention of many. And Sixtus referenced it. The special prosecutor himself was in court. He led the entire process of the prosecution. But when he got out, the cameras, obviously, followed him because there's been a lot of talk about him over the past few weeks. That's the man, Kessie Jabing, the special prosecutor, out of court today, surrounded by quite a number of bodyguards, straight into his car, no media talk or interviews earlier today. Well, as it is, it was also one that caught the attention of the president, because yesterday, if you recall, and that's coming up next. Let's stay a bit further with the office of the special prosecutor, not the person, but the office, and that's coming up next. President Mahama's bid to halt the OSP scrapping bill sparks debate over executive overreach, and we're going to break down the matters to you tonight. Let's start off first with yesterday. The president shared his view on a matter that has been topical in debate over the last couple of weeks. That is whether or not the office of the special prosecutor is still relevant in the framework and the architecture of the fight against corruption in this country. The former Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Professor Akuffo, has shared his view. Said this outlived this usefulness. The current Speaker of Parliament says, you know what, it was even unconstitutional in the first place. But we've had divergent views on this matter. But President Mahama yesterday had this to say. Take a look.
So that's why we're resourcing the Economic and Organized Crime Office and the other anti-corruption institutions, including the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And recently, there have been some controversy with the Office of the Special Prosecutor. I think it's premature to call for the closure of that office. The unique thing about that office is it is the only anti-corruption agency that has prosecutorial powers to be able to prosecute themselves without going through the Attorney General. And so people had mistrust for the Attorney General because the Attorney General normally is a member of government and is a minister of state. And so they believe that the Attorney General will be very reluctant to prosecute his own. But if there's an independent office like the Office of the Special Prosecutor, it won't matter who you are because they have security of tenure and they have prosecutorial powers, whether you're a member of government or you're a member of a previous government or you are anybody who has, misappropriated public funds. They have the law is behind them to be able to prosecute you. So I think we should give them a little time. Of course, people want to see, more prosecutions and more results. And so I'll just urge the OSP to speed up, some of these investigations and, show people that the office is still very relevant.
Well, so that's the president then, yesterday. Then today, earlier today, this statement came through from the presidency. Felix Akuffo is Minister in charge of Government Communications, and this is it. He says President John Dramani Mahama has requested the majority leader, that is Mama Yarga, and the majority chief whip Nelson Roxy in Parliament to withdraw the private member's bill tabled for the repeal of the act establishing the Office of the Special Prosecutor. If you recall...
Okay, I was waiting and some so our political highway. So a NPP member of Parliament, sitting MP, and it is a Okoko PMO court. It is if you refuse any plea, it is a plea, you are found any guilty, and as you pleading guilty, and you ask them to acquire. But I'm asking some of the penny and some way at my Ghana politics avenue. So, but I'm asking.